There we go. And here we go, back for another round of Grisaia. Part 92 is here right now. Amen and welcome, name is Yuusha and welcome back to Grisaia no Kajutsu, the Fruit of Grisaia. Now we are back on the Makina route on part 11 of the Seed of the World tree, which I believe this is what Makina's route is called. And I don't think we're far from the end, and I already have a bad feeling with the first sentence with her saying she's going to head to a part-time job, because that makes me think immediately, is she going to get attacked again? But they know where she is. She's probably not answered them what she wants to do yet. We got to keep a vigilant eye on Makina. So guys, if you're ready, I sure as hell am. Ikimashouka! Good. Get him out, kid. Before long, it's 8 o'clock, and Makina's setting off for her shift at the bakery. Watching the girl march triumphantly out of the room, her prototype M8I2 safety word, safety word, what am I reading? Oh dear, safely stowed in a plastic bag, I nod deeply to myself. Right then, guess I should get going as well. Yeah, I'm working today myself. Even as I'm speaking, I quickly slip into one of my work uniforms and swing a bag full of tools over my shoulder. Oh, let's see. 5:30 or so, as long as nothing comes up. Makina's not going to be back. I'm calling it now, Makina's not going to be back. Will do. Alright then. I'll be on my way. Ittakurua. Suppose this still qualifies as a part-time job, but it's different from the normal routine. Today I'm working as Makina's bodyguard. I received a full 70 million in advance payment on this one, so I can't exactly treat it like a game. That's sort of... Oh, for God's sake, move out of the way! How many times do I have to see you're playing Apex? God damn it. That sort of money warrants a serious approach and professional attitude. True. Stepping out the school gate, I casually turn my head to glance in the direction of the shopping district, immediately spotting Makina in the distance. After confirming that there aren't any suspicious cars stopped in the area, I start walking after her, only on the opposite side of the street. There'd hardly be any point to tagging right along after the girl. Easier and less conspicuous just to walk her down to the station in the first place. But I do have my reasons for taking a more fruitive approach. Yeah. First of all, I don't want Makina to be aware I'm guarding her. Yeah, because otherwise... well... cover blown. If she knows I'm protecting her, that knowledge would start to influence her actions in revealing ways. Yes. Even if I told her to try and act normally, an awkward movement would give it away sooner or later, tipping off anyone who might be observing. He's really thought about this, and I don't blame him. If the enemy realises Makina has a bodyguard, they'll change their tactics accordingly. That wouldn't be much fun from my perspective. Oh, it's about fun, is it? The ideal is to keep both Makina and anyone targeting her ignorant of my presence. Therefore, after following her from a good distance for a while, I begin cutting quickly through side streets to get ahead of her. If I was targeting Makina, I'd spend 7 days at the very least on observation, trying to get a solid grasp of her daily patterns of behaviour. Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you've got to try and figure out what they do on those every single day, if possible. Before making any attempt, I'd compile the most detailed possible data I could on her walking speed, route, and typical initiatory. Sniper, kidnapper, whatever, any pro would do the same. In fact, I spent some time this morning putting myself in the shoes of an assassin, narrowing down some potential sniping points. I devised and evaluated a few plausible spots, simulating attempts at shooting Makina on her way to and from the bakery, but as a target, the girl's genuinely troublesome. First of all, she's a shrimp, makes for a smaller target. True, more easily obstructed. Secondly, her actions are frequently hard to anticipate. If the girl comes across some hostess out walking a cute little doggy, she'll without a doubt stop dead and hold a lengthy conversation with the animal. On top of it all, there's the fundamentally whimsical personality. Yes, if she needs to make 3 turns to her destination, she'll randomly change the roads she uses. It's hard to nail down the exact route. Taking all those negatives into account, there are 2 spots that seem potentially effective. I take out a hand-drawn map from the pockets of my school uniform. It's a detailed sketch of the terrain within a decent radius of the station, with 2 lines connecting hypothetical sniping spots and impact points. The first potentially effective choice is a shot from the top of the pedestrian bridge over the East Beach Line rail track, which provides a good view for the main shopping district area. There's practically no cover to worry about, and the distance would only be about 300 meters, so it's 200 meters plus the change in possible trajectory from the wind effect from that range, from the sniper that Yuusha was talking about before. On top of which, you'd be hitting the girl from behind, making it easier to line up the shot. Problem is, you'd stand out too much. If you openly set up shop with a rifle up there, even a dim-witted grade schooler would point and yell, "Look, mummy, it's an assassin!" Considering the risk of exposure, you'd probably have to snipe from under the canopy of a parked truck. But that'll limit your angle on fire severely. Yeah, you can't prone yourself properly to make the shot, making it easy to lose track of the target in the crowd. Not too appetizing. Yeah, you'd see a lot of feet. Foot fetishists would love that. God damn it. I did take a look just for safety's sake, but there don't seem to be any suspicious idling cars in the area I marked as suitable for sniping. Snipers need time to prepare. It's not like they're going to tear up, fire a shot from the window, then peel out. Probably safe to conclude no one's shooting from there today. But there's also the second possibility. A shot from the 8th floor of the parking garage south of Makina Cape Station, next to the fashion building currently under construction. And who owns that building? The structure itself isn't open to the public yet, so entry is restricted. In other words, once you slip in, you'll be able to spread out a pretty sizable shot without an awkward questions from passers-by. Also, since it's a downward angle, you should get a clean line of sight. The target's short stature won't be nearly so much of an issue. However, the shot would require firing between two buildings obstructed by an elevated park at the Makina Cape Station itself. No matter where you position yourself, you're not going to get even a 2-meter slice of visibility. What's more, you'll be firing at Makina from the side as she walks past, from a range of 600 meters, so that's 3 times the distance on the other one. If you take the time to identify the girl after she enters your field of view, she'll have walked right by before you can get a bullet over there. In other words, you've got one chance, and it only lasts a few seconds. Can't see it working without a cooperator following the target, constantly keeping you up to date on her movements. Whew, he's really done his research in this. Stopping just before an intersection that connects to my side street to the main road, I peer down at the map in my hand, play acting a blue-collar worker new to the area. And while glancing around as if to search for landmarks, I spot Makina approaching from the left. Keeping the brim of my plain workman's cap low over my eyes, I proceed to gaze in her general direction, not focusing on anything in particular. When you start deliberately darting your eyes around looking for suspicious people, you tend to get tunnel vision, actually end up missing more than you would otherwise. On the other hand, when you take in the scene as a whole, like you're appreciating a work of art, people moving in unusual ways will stand out as if painted in vivid hues. Yes. Damn! His freaking descriptions are amazing. This translation as well is amazing. Thank you, Frontwing. Right now we're near the very tail end of the morning rush to work. There are many people on the streets. Among the sparse crowd, one man quickly catches my eye. He's strolling along behind Makina, shooting her regular glances while putting on a great show of casually looking around the area. Complete amateur. Anyway, look at him. Tales comically awful. I've seen love-struck middle schoolers stalking their crushes with more subtlety. At a glance, the guy seems to be in his late 20s or early 30s. He's wearing a 3,000 yen pair of loafers and a 2 full 30,000 suit. He's also got a pair of eyeglasses with unusually thick black rims, perhaps as an attempt at disguise, but counterproductively, they make him stand out in the crowd. I can almost just leave this be. Not like he's going to get anything worthwhile. But even so, I'd like to know who this kid belongs to. Folding the map into a neat square and putting it away in my chest pocket, I casually step into a nearby Busky Robinson ice cream store. So she's being followed for sure. Not good.
8月12日午前8時15分対象者の追尾を開始
Naoki Ihara.
記録者井原直之
Oh, it's actually the right way around. Okay. Muttering into the mic of the IC recorder set up in the inside pocket of his jacket, Ihara followed the girl from behind with his eyes. For crying out. Okay. I thought he was going to speak. For crying out now. Why did it turn out like this? It had been a year and a half since Ihara resigned his previous position in the security company and took a job at the IGS Detective Agency through a friend's recommendation. Detective work had appealed strongly to Ihara since childhood. He did of course understand by now that a real flatfoot's job wasn't the hard-boiled stuff from the stories. Do you know what? I'm surprised they're giving us so much info on Ihara. But changing the title on his business card from guard to investigator proved too tempting to pass up. However, even after 3 long months of training, he was relegated to sorting raw material, processing documents, and other desk work. And the rare field work that tricked down to him tended to be odd jobs like investigating adultery or searching for lost pets. He'd spent the better part of a year waiting unhappily for a chance to flex his muscles a little. Just as he was starting to feel something like regret at ditching the security guard position, a senior employee abruptly stopped by and said, "Chief wants to see you. Get a move on. Your clothes are fine as they are." Ihara's first reaction had been to tilt his head in confusion and try to remember if he screwed anything up lately. But then the man leaned down and whispered, "Seems like you're getting a pretty important job." He'd honestly been pretty damn excited for the chance to get some real work. Thrilled even. Till he learned the important job amounted to stalking a little girl. All in a bit of a letdown, yeah. Let's see if anybody calls him a lolicon. That said, this Irisu Makina kid currently tromping along the sidewalk 8 meters or so ahead of him was certainly keeping Ihara on his toes. The girl was constantly glancing around the area as she walked. As if something caught her eye, she'd often come to an abrupt and total halt. Keeping a constant distance was proving very difficult, and even worse, she seemed to have a habit of glancing briefly behind her every time she turned a corner, never failing to startle him. It almost seemed like she might just have a terrible sense of direction. That constantly moving gaze should be her memorizing the area, and turning around might be an attempt to imagine the trip back home ahead of time. But according to the documents, Irisu Makina had been living in the city for nearly a year. It was hard to imagine getting lost would be a big issue at this point. Nah, she's keeping an eye for anybody following her. She was simply one of those ADHD kids, or what? If you looked at her behaviour as deliberate acts of caution, you could almost see her as a well-trained spy, but Ihara knew he was probably deluding himself on that one. Just some part of him trying to make this more interesting than it really was. Nah. Nah, you was thinking right, mate. In reality, Irisu Makina didn't protect the fierce predatory menace of a trained agent. If anything, she looked more like a nervous little chipmunk, fearful of everything around her. Uh-oh. The girl had come to a sudden stop. She seemed to be peering into the LCD screen of a small electronic toy tied to her belt. Unless he was careful, Ihara was going to overtake her. He knew the girl's destination, so it would still be possible to resume surveillance even after passing her, but for now he wanted to keep observing from behind. Ihara slowed his pace a little, then reached into his inner jacket pocket and pretended to search for his cell phone. "What are you doing? Hurry up and get walking." At this rate, he was going to walk right on by her. It'd be hard to stay out of his target's field of vision much longer. At this point, maybe abandoning surveillance outright would be best. It'd be easy enough to take out his phone, check his mail, then abruptly turn around as if called back on some urgent errand. What do I do? Time to call it a day? 5 meters from his target, Ihara decided to make up his mind one way or another within the next 2 meters. Whoa! She's off. But as he continued his slow approach, Irisu Makina suddenly looked up from the toy at her waist and then broke into a pattering run. Damn it, she's completely unpredictable. What now? Run after her? He knew the girl was headed to a bakery, so it probably wasn't strictly necessary, but there wasn't much point in a surveillance mission if he couldn't keep her in sight. Very true. Oh, come on. Oh, there we go. Why did that take so long? Is it frozen or something? Oh, there we go. Very sorry. Are you okay? The man bowed his head apologetically. Must have been looking at his map as he walked. It's Yuucha. Must have been looking at his map as he walked. Judging from his awkward Japanese, he probably wasn't from around here. Daijoubu desu ka? For some reason, there was a timid half smile on his face. When Ihara followed the man's gaze down, he couldn't help shouting. The breast of his suit was covered in thick gobs of ice cream. Damn. When he took another look, Ihara realized the man was holding a half-eaten cone in his other hand. Looked like one of those patong? What the hell's patong? Patpong shower numbers from the Busky Robinson place the kids were going to these days. Yeah, Baskin Robbins is very popular in Japan. Sorry. Guobinda bayo. Speaking cryptic words in a remorseful tone of voice, the man started rubbing at Ihara's suit with his bare hands.
Kora! Nobasu na! Yokei ni yogoreru janai ka. Mou ii, yamero.
Apai ni? Daimana to.
Oi, yamero tte. Doko sawatte n da yo. Mou ii kara achi ike yo.
This is not good. Gathering this much tension on a tailing job was a huge blunder. While warding off the man persistently trying to clean his suit, Ihara hurriedly turned his head in search of Irisu Makina, but the girl was already gone. At least he hadn't been outright discovered by the subject of his surveillance, but continuing to tail her after this would be very difficult. Probably be best to withdraw for the moment, then resume shadowing the girl after she finished at a part-time job.
もういいって言ってるだろ。お前、不法就労者じゃないだろうな。
Damn! Now he actually did say you're some kind of illegal immigrant or something. The man visibly flinched at the word illegal, finally abandoning his inept attempt at brushing off Ihara's clothing. He pulled his cap down even lower over his eyes. Just! Oh, that parting remark, the man in the work uniform beat a hasty retreat. You made him knock his ice cream over, you knob. Whatever the case, things just hadn't worked out today. He had to reach inside his jacket to switch off his IC recorder, and in the next instant, he let out another reflexive shout. The slim... Yes, Yuji, you took it! I feel sorry for this guy right here, because it was his first big job, but guess what, mate? You're done. Sorry. I know he doesn't know what's going on, surely, but damn. Oh boy, when Ihara moved his hand to the opposite pocket, the cell phone he'd left there was also missing. Disbelieving, he reached into the rear pocket of his pants to discover even his wallet had vanished. All of it! Yarareta! He quickly spun around, but the suspicious foreign labourer completely disappeared. You got played, man. Naoki Ihara fought a powerful urge to lie down on the sidewalk and curl up into a ball. I would not blame him. I would not blame him. Die, Makoro. In a narrow, dim alleyway 2 streets removed from the station plaza, a labourer was sitting on a stack of beer cases and humming the Lightspeed General Dai Makarov theme song to himself. His attention was focused on a certain wallet, the fruit of his day's labours. There were 17,000 yen bills inside. Damn, that's like 130 quid right there. Small purse had another 657 in coins. Okay, that's another fiver. Not a big haul by any means, but nothing to turn up your nose at. Yeah, inside the card sleeve there was an ATM card from a bank credit card, a patient registration ticket from a dentist, and proof of membership at a video rental shop. There's also a driver's license for standard cars, with a gold stripe. Other than that, we've got 20 convenience store coupons. Considering he's walking around with them, doesn't look like these get used too often. Methodical, but a little too much pride for his own good. Maybe. The back of the dentist ticket revealed that its owner last visited only half a year ago. Man must have been going for regular checkups to have tartar scrapped off or what have you. Definitely the methodical type. Ihara Naoyuki-san. Naturally, the back of the driver's license was unblemished by violations. It was a genuine gold license. The man snapped open a small aluminium case he swiped along with the wallet. Oh, the card wallet! Finding the inside full of business cards. An IGS kid, huh? I see. Oi! そこで何をしている? The man in the work uniform knew that voice all too well. And this wasn't... Oh no, it's the guy at the very beginning. Oh no, it's the guy in the very beginning. Oh man, how have you been doing, fella? And this wasn't the first time you'd been rendered half blind by that overly bright flashlight either. Softly clicking his tongue, he got to his feet. Oi, oi! Kazami-san yo. Mata anta ka? Ii kagen ni shite kurenai ka? It's not like I did anything this time, you know. なんだその格好? ついに学校をクビになって就職でもしたのか? Damn. I'm a working student. This is the uniform from my part-time
な
job.
んか怪しいな。
Fair.
あんた、こんなとこで何やってたんだい？
Not much. Happened to find a wallet over there, so I was looking over it to see if I could return it to the
本
owner.
当に？あんたが吸ったんじゃないだろうね。
Come on, I'm being a good Samaritan here, you know. This policeman guy, he's very sharp though. Here, this is the wallet.
うん。中身の金は残っているようだな。あんた、少し猫ばばしていたりしないだろうな。
I'm not desperate enough to steal other people's money. I work for my food, as you can
そう
see.
か。いや、冗談だ。申し訳ない。
This policeman, I like him. He's sharp. And I don't blame him for being annoyed with Yuji at all, because Yuji does play everyone. More importantly, it seemed like the owner had some business cards in there.
ああ、これか。なになに？ IGS 探偵社調査員井原直之か。
A detective, huh? Guess from the contents of his wallet, he doesn't seem like that lucrative of a
あん
profession.
た、中身を見たのか？
Well, yeah, of course. That a crime now?
そういうわけじゃないが。
IGS Detective Company, eh? The Iizuka General Security Private Investigative Agency, right? Wasn't that Iizuka Satoru who runs it, Sakura Damon Arum? What? A Sakura Damon Arum? What the hell's
詳
that
しい
mean?
な。
The name's pretty famous, that's all. Oh, but I did hear they dabble in some behind-the-scenes political jobs as well. Any truth to that?
知らんよ。とにかく、この財布は俺が預かっておく。一緒に交番まで来てくれ。
Again? Boss isn't going to be too happy if you drag me back.
そうは言ってもな。習得者の氏名と連絡先を聞くのが手順だからな。
Yes, it is. I did a similar thing to a handkerchief that was lost in Japan. I found somebody had lost it and I took it to a keijiban, police box, to report it. I know they thought it was very silly that it was only that, but hey, somebody lost something. I wanted to be a good Samaritan.
しかし、
Okay, here, give me that wallet for a
ど
minute.
うするつもりだ？
I'm going to drop it on the ground. Then you're going to pick it up. That way you won't be falsifying your
わ
documents.
かったよ。俺が
Clever.
ここで拾ったことにすればいいんだろ。
Why not at least
は
pretend
い
to pick it
は
up?
い。お、こんなところに財布が落ちているじゃないか。
Manzo.
これでいいか？
Ah, yeah. Good job. Oh, while we're at it, take this
携
too.
帯電話と、なんだこれは？
Voice recorder. Unfortunately, somebody or other seems to have cleared the memory. Slick Yuji, well done. He's really quick with everything. This is why we all respect Yuji. He's just lying here with the wallet.
おい、本当にあんたが吸ったんじゃないだろうな。
Word of advice, don't ask any more questions. I wanted to bet your life's going to get a lot smoother
確
that
か
way.
にな。あんたのことは黙認しろと上から言われている。けどな、風見さんよ。俺は犯罪を見て見ぬふりをするために警官になったわけじゃないぞ。
And that's respectable. This is why I like this guy. I know he's a bit of an arse in the first place, but then again, Yuji was also being an arse, so... Fair. And I'm not saying you should. You have my word. I'm not looking to make you complicit in any evil doing on my
風見
part.
さんよ。あんた、本当に迷惑だな。
Oh, Miyawaki. Human beings can't live without inconveniencing others.
まあいいさ。
Damn.
俺はここで財布を拾っただけだ。あんたにも会っていない。それでいいんだな。
That works. Speaking from experience, people who know when to keep their mouth shut get ahead in life faster. You'll climb the ladder in no time.
嬉しかねえな。
Damn. So that's of course sarcastic. So uriskanena. So that means doesn't mean I'm very happy with that. That's literally what you just said. That doesn't mean I'm happy with it, or doesn't mean I should be happy about it. So great. Thanks so much in a sarcastic tone does also work. So there you go. Japanese lesson of the day. Okay, I'll be going.
あんまり仕事増やしてくれるなよ。次は本当に逮捕するぞ。
Damn, fair. I'll watch my step. Starving highway robbers in war-torn countries will murder people for a single can of food. Comparatively speaking, a filched wallet is hardly worth whining about, right? Not that I'm dumb enough to voice the thought. When people are raised in different environments, they'll naturally look at the exact same things in very different ways. But I'm not complaining. A peaceful way of life, not seeing things best left unseen, ignorant of facts best left unknown, needs to be supported from the shadows. And that's the one and only reason anyone would bother keeping trash like me around. Damn. And it's 10 o'clock. IDS Detective Agency, a major private investigation company profitable enough to plaster ads across giant billboards in front of Tokyo train stations. Well known for its founder, the former Sakura Damon big shot Satoru Iizuka. Lately, the man's been getting a lot of face time as a security expert on news programs and such, earning plenty of free publicity for his agency. It's a well-known, respectable business. But IGS is also well versed in shady political dealings, thanks to a tendency to offer retiring police lucrative advisory jobs. Ooh. For a private business, you hear a lot of rumours about their involvement with incidents concerning the establishment. In reality, however, they do seem to know where to draw the line. IGS claims to be a completely independent private company with no tolerance for illegal behaviour, and it doesn't seem to be just a pretense. The fact that one of their employees was investigating Makina's behaviour means that her enemies are still in the exploratory stage for now. True, because he said it himself, it needed about a week. Those people aren't going to harm her even if I leave them alone. Question is how long that harmless observation will continue, and what comes after it. I decided to try and analyse the situation from the ground up. There are 4 basic questions. You're not going to say hi to Sachi right next to you? You're just going to ignore the tomboy Sachi? Sure, okay. Why, who, how, and finally, what do I do about it? Why is Makina being targeted? She was removed from her position as the successor of the Heir family because... The successor of her family. Why did I say heir? Because of health problems. But now her recovery has been confirmed. Simple as that. I'm sorry, come back to me in a second, alright, Sachi? I'm just, I'm mulling things over at the moment. Until now, Makina's good health hadn't been public knowledge. That's protecting her. Otherwise, the girl probably would have been targeted the moment she was discharged from the hospital. Next question. Who is targeting Makina? Logically speaking, it's the police who would be inconvenienced by her return as the future head of the Irisu. In other words, the branch house of its allies. Oh, I feel so bad for Sachi. She's tried so hard to speak to him, and he's just tunnel visioned. Learning that Makina recovered, the main family attempted to murder the branch family's figurehead, her half-sister. And she's gone. Oh, Grisaia. Sachi, 戻ってもいいよ. Please come back, Sachi. In retaliation, the branch family is beginning to maneuver behind the scenes, most likely aiming at removing Makina from the equation. And as for how, that powerful faction inside the Irisu tends to treat Makina from now on. For the moment, they're still gathering information, but once they're satisfied with the investigation, they'll probably move to take more direct action against her. Since she's staying put for the moment, I'm anticipating they'll begin with a harassment campaign to intimidate her, but there's a definite chance that might progress into attempts on her life. In the end, what do I do? The answer's not going to change no matter who I'm up against. That said, there's a possibility of this opponent choosing to come at us with force of arms, and we don't have the personnel or equipment to resist. In that case, how about seizing the initiative? Better to crush cockroaches before they hatch. Take it one step further, and it's most efficient to kill the mother roach before she can even lay her eggs. Oh. Yumiko, I'm sorry if I air you right now. Actually, did Sachi get Yumiko? I'm betting she did. Of course, if I try anything along those lines, there won't be any turning back. My employer would no doubt hunt me down, but I'd rather die keeping her safe than live as a slave to the national interest. Oh, Sakaki? What's wrong? Seems I was a little too deeply lost in thought. I didn't even notice Sakaki until she was standing right in front of me. She slapped me, didn't she? With this remark, Sakaki abruptly reaches out for my face and tightly seizes my neck between her thumbs and forefingers. Jesus! Why is that? Hey, Jimmy,
何を思い詰めているのか知らないけれど、あんまり怖い顔をしていると女の子に嫌われるわよ。
Say what?
鏡を見てごらんなさいな。あなたの目、 どろりと濁った中にもギラギラと底光りしていて、まるでけだもののような目をしているわよ。
Better on fish, you know?
冗談を言う余裕はあるよね。あなた、
This hurts
さ
pulling
っ
my
き小峰
cheek.
さんに声を
Jesus.
かけられたこと気がついていた？
So she was? When?
ほんの数分前のことよ。ここであなたを見かけて何度か声をかけたのだそうだけれど、返事もしないし、追い詰められた獣のような恐ろしい顔をしていたので、それ以上は声をかけることもできなかったそうよ。
Damn. I see. Sorry. Got a little lost in thought.
さっきという言葉が適切なのかはわからないけれど、あなたがここでそうしているだけで寮全体の空気がピリピリするようだわ。そういう顔をあまりうちの子たちに見せないでほしいのだけれど。
Our kids?
ああ、うちの学園の子という意味よ。
Mm.
私の子供のことじゃなくて。
You have children.
ないわよ。
How's it going? I try my best to smile, but I just can't seem to get it right. I suppose the fact that Sakaki's pinching my cheeks with renewed vigor has something to do with that. But that's not the only problem. The girl's right. I'm on edge, to the point of unconsciously projecting a menacing aura. In fact, it's pretty damn impressive that Sakaki managed to pinch my cheeks under those circumstances. I look at her with just a little admiration in my eyes. My bad. Exhaling deeply as if to clear out a mass of bad air gone stagnant in my lungs, I let the tension drain from my shoulders, then I clench my fists. Sakaki, who'd been glaring at me irritably all this time, peers deep into my eyes to confirm I've regained lucidity.
よし。
Good. Then briefly nods and releases my smarting cheeks at last.
イリスさん絡みのことで何かあったのね。
Why do you know that?
悪いとは思ったのだけれど、イリスさんのことを少し調べさせてもらったわ。
Oh, Yumiko's doing that
彼
independent
女、
research.
書類上ではまだ当主の座にいるようね。妹さんはあくまでも代理という立
Stop
場に。
showing me that my friend's on freaking Apex, for God's sake. What does that mean?
つまり正式な辞任がなされていないということなのよ。
Right, but the girl's not interested in inheriting. She made that very plain to her grandfather.
イリス家だって一枚岩ではないし、そう簡単な話ではないことはあなたも知っているでしょ。
Of
いく
course.
ら本人が辞めたいと言っても、はいそうですかというわけにはいかないのね。
Yeah, a simple hi saw this girl will not work. Then what can we do?
そうね。ちゃんとした話し合いの席で立ち会い人の同席のもと、正式な辞任手続きを済ませて後任に委ねるのね。
So
そ
who
う
would that
簡
be?
単にはいかないでしょうけれど。
Why not? Sounds pretty straightforward.
宗家を勝ち馬として支えてきた人たち。
Right.
これまで宗家に融資を受けてきた関連企業や海外提携企業。宗家の代表が主権から外れると不利益を被る人たちが黙ってはいないでしょ。
Nope, they won't.
これは私が勝手に計算した結果だけれど、もし現時点でイリス家の主権が分家に移った場合、国内流通、小売、製造、海外輸出入を含むと約 7% の景気後退が発生する見込みになるわね。
That's quite a loss. 7% across the entire country.
ええ、そう。全世界的に見れば 1.7% の損失よ。
Stocks are a hard thing to predict as well. But 7% on the entire economy. That's a... Jeez. That would trigger a recession.
数年前から続く世界恐慌に拍車がかかるわね。さしずめ、イリスショックといったところかしら。
Wow. So, like when the case of Idisi was first involved, that actually brought on the financial crisis? Is that what you're telling me? Jesus! In other words, Makina saying no would impact the entire world?
そういうこと。
Wow.
どんな理由があろうと逃げ出せない。それが許されない世界というものは存在するのね。
Makina's still a child, Sakaki.
イリスさんは宗家が掲げる旗印なのよ。大人かどうかなんて関係ないわ。
Yep, you're looking at it a realistic POV, which is wise, but it's also not favourable. What feudal bullshit. They just want to use the blood in her veins.
かわいそうだけれど、
It's true.
それが彼女の生まれ持った業なのよ。
Is there nothing we can do about that?
だからゆっくりと時間をかけて主権を移譲しつつ20年ぐらいかけて正式に辞任するか、あとは
That would not work. There's an alternative.
あと3年間逃げ回るか。
Run away for another 3 years. 3 years? What happens in 3 years?
イリスさんが健康上の理由で当主の座を妹さんに預けたのが7年前。
Yeah. And now her sister's also in the exact same
10
position.
年間当主の任に復帰することができなければ彼女は家督相続権を強制的に剥奪されるのよ。
Okay. In other words, she doesn't return to her old position within the next 3 years.
そう、イリスさんは権利をすべて剥奪されて普通の女の子になるわ。
3 years of running, hey? Jesus. For me alone, disappearing for the 3 years wouldn't be impossible. But if I'm taking Makina along as well, the situation almost certainly wouldn't be so simple. The main house would be using all their power to search for her. And the branch family too would no doubt try to take the opportunity to secure their position by assassinating Makina while she's on the run and vulnerable.
少な
They
くと
wouldn't
も
care about the
イリ
loss
ス
at
さ
that
んが
point.
この学園にいる間は安全が保障されてはいるのだけれど、その約束もどこまで守られることやら。
It's already compromised, she's already under surveillance. I don't understand. What connection is there between the Irisu and the school?
関わりというほどのことでもないのだけれど、
It's you, isn't it? It's your family.
イリスさんをこの学園に入学させたのは分家筋の人間なのよ。
Members of the branch family put her here? Why?
つまりイリスさんをこの学園で3年間隔離すれば彼女の家督相続権は剥奪されるでしょ。
Right.
宗家側にはイリスさんが退院したことすら伝えずにそっと入れ物を移してしまったというわけね。事実宗家側は最近までイリスさんの退院すら知らされていなかったし、彼女がいた病院には分家側が用意した影武者まで仕込んであったというのだから周到な計画だったよね。
Wow. My head's starting to hurt. So in other words, as long as she stays in the school under the branch family's control, Makina's safe, is what you're telling me.
妹さんが爆発に巻き込まれる前の話ならそういうことになるけれど。
Right. But the status quo has already been broken.
その通り。
No choice but to crush the eggs after all.
またそうやって怖い顔をする。もう一度つねる？
Looks like Heikky.
冷静になりなさい。あなた一人でどうにかできる問題ではないということは理解できたでしょ？
Yeah, I understand, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stop trying.
強情。
She's the one thing in the world I decided to protect of my own will, not because someone ordered me to. I can't very well back down, can I?
少しだけイリスさんが羨ましいと思うのは他人事が過ぎるかしら。
Better not say that in front of her, at least.
何にせよ、今日明日でどうにかなる問題ではないわ。宗家と分家も今はお互いに責任のなすりつけ合いと言いがかりの掛け合いに忙しいようだし、
Right.
私の調べられる範囲であれば何か変化があったら教えてあげるからしばらく静観してみては。
I suppose so. The next day, just as Sakaki said, there are no immediate changes in Makina's everyday life. She's able to follow her usual routine without incident. This is gonna get insane. I know it's just gonna be like how Sachi's route kind of kicked in. No, Sachi's route didn't kick in quite fast. More like how Michiru suddenly just got very damn serious very damn quickly. Like that type of feeling, for sure. Does it mean it's bad? No, definitely not. But I'm hoping that it's not going to be so abrupt that I end up more annoyed than actually being like, whoa, ho, ho, you know? But knowing this is Grisaia, I have faith in it. Just as Sakaki said, yeah, I already read that. On the days when she works at the bakery, I quietly follow her on the way over, and in the evenings, I wait outside to walk her home. It's starting to become a normal part of my day. When I slip out of the school's front gate, a little after Makina, I never failed to spot a certain silver station wagon following her. Presumably more observers from the IGS detective agency. The first time I casually glanced in through the side window, I noticed that the man holding the steering wheel wasn't that Naoyuki Hada guy who screwed up last time. No, he probably lost a job. Idiots clumsy enough to get their wallet stolen while following a target presumably get reassigned to pushing paper around. I felt a small twinge of conscience. Passed quickly though. Let's have our moment or more. Yep, that's enough. Move on. I don't know how the new guy in charge is, but since he was given the job after the dance failed, he's most likely a pretty competent investigator. On top of which, we've now got 2 men assigned to the case. From what Sakaki tells me, the people employing IGS are indeed connected to the branch family. In short, they're probably trying to determine whether Makina is obediently keeping her head down, looking for any evidence of her coming into contact with the main family. The silver station wagon follows a good distance behind Makina until reaching the shopping district, at which point the man sitting in the passenger seat gets out. While the driver takes the vehicle around to park in an hourly lot on the other side of the station, then leans to seat back and lies down. That's what they call a package drop at my workplace. Since they've got 2 men on a job now, the observer and his driver seem to have a clear division of labour. It makes it easier to deal with sudden or unforeseen developments. Might seem slightly excessive just to keep an eye on Makina, but the bulk of their work actually seems to be investigating the people who enter the bakery where she works. The owner and his wife would already have been thoroughly checked, so instead they're photographing every single customer who stops by with a digital camera. They keep it up continuously from 9 till the morning till later than 5 in the evening. When Makina goes out to deliver bread, the man in the car heads over to her destination, while his partner continues watching for customers in her absence. Jesus, he's managed to get all that just from watching them. It must be ridiculously dull work, but they're very consistent and conscientious. Conscientious, there we go. Is that how I say it? Conscientious. Clearly a private detective's life isn't all thrills. But despite this obsessive investigation, they haven't found any suspicious individuals coming into contact with Makina. If there's a reason besides stubbornness that the branch family hasn't called off the surveillance at this point, Sakaki speculates it might have something to do with me. Ooh. Looking into the people around Makina would naturally mean they pursued a thorough round of inquiries into the identities of those related to her school as well. So everyone's being background checked. The principal would be first on the list, but it no doubt included the visiting lecturers and the contractors who maintain the facilities. Sakaki, Amane, Michiru and Sachi can't have been an exception. And among all these, there's one and only one individual whose investigation would have turned up absolutely nothing. Myself, Kazumi Yuji. So they're going to want to know about me. Because I am the person who's got nothing. Of course, I do have a profile. Anyone with a bit of knowledge about these things would find it suspicious at a single glance. But there aren't any conclusive flaws or contradictions. My papers are clean and beautiful as driven snow. Oh, man. There must be someone over there who didn't like that overly tidy, blatantly prepared personal history. That would seem the most likely explanation for the way they're dragging out this fruitless surveillance of Makina's surroundings. Oh man, yeah, if I was a private investigator seeing it so squeaky clean, I'd find that suspicious. They're probably aware that this investigation isn't getting anywhere, but they're not prepared to back down until they get a read on me. I'm sure IGS isn't too broken up about the state of affairs, since they're no doubt getting paid well for their dull but easy work. On the other hand, the branch family must be getting pretty aggravated by the deadlock. If we can't finish the investigation, why not just remove the need to investigate? I don't know who made that call, but today the routine is finally broken. In the early evening, I'm making my way over to the bakery to pick up Makina when I notice a black sedan surging up the road ahead. The classless roaring of its exhaust system drawing louder and louder as it approaches. Wait, what's going on? They're gonna kidnap her. Oh shit! That's not the only reason the car stands out. All the side windows are covered with dark black film and it's so low to the ground it's probably a cut spring. Zigzagging across the road to avoid a manhole cover, the car screeches to a halt in front of Makina's bakery, and before I can do anything but stare out in surprise, the window on the passenger side abruptly slides open. You've got to be shitting me! As I take the first hurried step forward, my scalp burning with a sudden surge of panic, the muzzle of an automatic appears. Oh shit! They're gonna shoot her! The muzzle of an automatic appears from inside the car. God damn it! I've been too happy-go-lucky. It's not so complicated from their perspective, is it? Eliminating Makina solves their problem in a single step. And of all the cliched, simplistic ways to do it, I hadn't even considered the damn possibility. Drive-by shooting. Shit! For a moment that seems to last a year. All I can do is curse my negligence. As the attackers speed past, I turn to memorize the number and make of their car. There's a sticker on the rear window with the words Team Blood Cherry under a crude sketch of a skull holding a cherry bomb in its teeth. A biker gang? It seems like a biker sticker. It's also possible that they're pros in a stolen vehicle pretending to be gangsters as a cover. That's not what matters right now. Makina, you're alright. Any injuries?
なんかうるさいのが来たと思ったらいきなりパンパンってお店の窓ガラス割られちゃったのよさ。
Calm down, it was just some idiots from a biker gang screwing around. More importantly, you weren't injured?
奥の調理場にいたから怪我はないけど。なんなの？暴走族？
In any case, let's get back inside for the moment. A drive-by shooting is a lot like a bombing. Oh yes, by which I mean the safest place you can be is one that's been hit already. There aren't many idiots who'll plug another bullet right where they fired the first one. When I enter the bakery or Makina, the owner is cradling a telephone against his shoulder, desperately explaining that shots were fired through his window. For the tone of his voice, it's clear he's talking to the police. The nearest neighbourhood station is right outside Mishima Cape Station, not even 200 meters away as the crow flies. They should be here in minutes. Please don't let it be that guy again. Oh no. Times like this, my bad premonitions are depressingly accurate. Oh god, please don't let it be him because I'm not even related to this. Last thing I want to deal with right now is my good friend Officer Sour facing his usual barriers of sarcasm and suspicion. Time to get moving. Under the circumstances, I was expecting a little resistance if Makina tried to leave as usual. But when the girl asks, "Can I go home now?" her employer just nods and says goodnight. Now that the terror has faded, the man seems to have worked up a good bit of outrage over the damage to his shop. He's too busy shouting at the policeman on the other end of the line to worry about anything else. Right, let's go home. I didn't expect him to shoot, I expected a kidnapping. Despite her dopey personality, Makina's got sharp instincts. This was a warning. It was to lure me out, wasn't it? She surely figured out by now that the bullets fired into the shop weren't a random prank. A gloomy expression settled onto her face. I fall into step next to the girl, then wrap an arm around her shoulders and pull her close in a casually protective gesture. Whew. 4 bullets were fired in the direction of the shop. The first hit their signboard. The second and third penetrated the glass in the front show windows, ultimately lodging in the rear walls of the bakery. The fourth hit a plastic bucket in the alleyway outside. Most likely they weren't fired at any particular target. Yep. The point of the shooting was to intimidate and threaten the people inside. In other words, it was simple harassment. A warning to the effect of, we could kill you at any time if we needed you dead. Of course, the intent of the attackers doesn't change the fact that potentially deadly bullets were fired at a store. It's no consolation in the slightest. Should this simple but effective threat convince Makina to quit her job at the bakery, it would minimise her contact with the outside world and reduce the time wasted on fruitless investigations. For the Branch family, it's probably a minor risk well worth taking. You alright? Makina's been trudging along silently at my side for some time. Looking down at the pavement below, she hasn't said a word since we left the bakery.
嫌だな。私と一緒にいる人はいつも迷惑するのよさ。
As if there's a single person in the world who isn't causing trouble for
で
someone.
も鉄砲で撃たれるような迷惑をかける子なんて私ぐらいなのよさ。
There was a driver in that car of her sister. Not that I'm going to remind
や
her.
っぱり私家に戻った方がいいのかな。その方が
Shit, the same
誰にも迷惑かけないのかな。
Man, this is a hard one. Maybe so. But do you want to go back? Do you? Then you don't have
で
to.
も
Not to worry, I'll make sure this sort of thing doesn't happen
ど
again.
うするの？何をする気なのパパ。やめてよ。危ないことはしないで。お願いだよ。
It's nothing particularly dangerous. I'm just going to get the police to give this their full
警
attention.
察に？
It's an organisation that exists to keep law-abiding citizens safe and secure. Only normal to rely on them at times like these, right? Nothing to worry about. Leave it to me. He's gonna kill them, isn't he? To be honest, my employer has a tendency not to view relying on the police favourably. I don't personally enjoy begging them for favors myself, but the organization exists and is powerful enough once it gets moving. Not making use of them would be foolish. Woo-wee, let's go for another 10 minutes. Once we made our way back to the dorm, I entrust the clearly depressed Makina to Kominisachi. I also considered the option of leaving this to Amane, but I decided our class representative would be the better choice this time. Wow, Yumiko. My reasoning concerns what you might call Sachi's peculiar virtues. Oh no, it's Sachi. Why am I thinking it's Yumiko? It's Sachi, that's the bloody student rep. Specifically, a certain quickness on the uptake, characteristic of an experienced maid. Hey, the user's playing stuff. And the modesty to refrain from what? Asking too many questions. There we go. When I abruptly show up and ask her to look after Makina, the girl doesn't request even the briefest of explanations.
はい、お任せください。
Instead, she nods her assent without even a moment's hesitation. Things wouldn't have gone nearly this smoothly with Amane. When it comes to Makina, the woman's something of a warrior. She wouldn't be able to help barraging us with questions. Although I'm sure Amane would eventually understand the matter. The matter's best left alone. It'd bother her so much that she'd end up getting gloomy too. And Sachi, she could just take an order and do it. That might leave Makina feeling even worse than before. Since she'll feel like she's bothering someone else, and she can't help it. I'll have to explain what happened to Amane and the others in due time, but for the moment, leaving it to Sachi is probably the optimal choice. I'd agree.
私のお部屋に来る？ミルクココアを入れようか。
Do you know what? I think this is the best one for a screenshot for the thumbnail. I think this is. I think it is anyway.
ありがとう、サチ。
Sachi turns around with a flutter of her long skirt, gently rests a supportive hand on Makina's back, and heads for her room. For just an instant, the class representative looks back over her shoulder, her face expressionless as ever, and fixes her clear eyes on mine. I like to hear the circumstances later. She doesn't make a sound, but I hear the words clearly enough. Fair enough. I nod briefly, then make my way up the stairs and head toward a certain room. We're gonna see Yumiko, right? Yep, Sakagi. Ordered Nakido. Me, your grandson. I'm in trouble. Please transfer 1 million yen to the following bank account. Sorry to interrupt, but please open the door. This is urgent. Yeah. Yuji saying it's urgent is rare. There's a brief moment of what seems like hesitation on her part, but soon the lock clanks open. I'm bleeding from my crotch and it just won't stop. Got any extra sanitary napkins? Hey, I was just kidding. Come back. Damn. Sorry, this is serious, alright? Please hear me out. Let me borrow your computer.
Huh?
There's something I need to look into. I like to be alone in the room, if that's possible. Kind of a long story. Yes. Point taken. Okay, I'll give you the executive summary. Someone took a few pot shots at the bakery where Makina works. Fortunately, no one was injured, but it's most likely harassment from the branch family to make her quit the job. Yes, that's the theory, but I can't say for sure who was responsible yet. That's what I want to borrow your PC to investigate. Oh, appreciate it. I'll let you know when I'm done. So go kill some time reading report magazines under my bed or something. Yuji, do you actually have some? Damn. Why don't you take a look and see? Oh. Feel free. Yeah, do you know what? That gives us time to do stuff. That's fair. Yuji Kazumi, the negotiator. I guess look like a little wave as she stalks out of the room. Wonder what sort of expression she made if I changed her PC wallpaper to a picture of my... No, don't do that. She will come in tonight and cut it off, mate. Don't do it. Unfortunately, there's no time for such absurd pranks at the moment. I switch on the notebook computer sitting on a desk, then hunt down in my breast pocket for JB's business card as the machine boots up. Underneath a simple but professional logo consisting of the letters A and C overlapping the word Asahi Clean LLC, Second Public Relations Division, and Holiday Yuria's Section Chief are printed in embossed type. In a smaller font below, there's an email address and a URL for the company's webpage. Once the computer loads its desktop, I immediately open a web browser, then type in the address. And just like you'd expect, a typical corporate front page for the Asahi Clean Company appears. Normally, I'd only be using this through our company's secure internal telecommunications network, but even using a normal public connection, it's possible to get access to our database for an emergency ID and login. However, the company is not quite so happy-go-lucky as to hand out such lovely authorization to a mere part-timer like myself. I click on the small user ID field in the upper right of the page to enter Julia000393, then move my cursor to the password. Bruh. He knows Julia's password. Oh no! At this point, I pause to stroke my chin thoughtfully. Well then. Jesus. Closing my eyes, I recall JB's body in all its vulgar glory. I've been out of touch for quite some time, but I don't think these numbers will have changed that easily. Okay. Jesus, 17296569055. Okay. Wait, are those body measurements? Is her password a collection of the three sizes, height, and weight? I'm guessing that's what it is. I tap in the figures as I record them, then click the login button. I instantly bounce back with the brusque incorrect user ID or password error. Huh? Shit, no good. Did she put on some weight? I was right! I was right! Mistyping the password 3 times will trigger an automatic warning to the company. I've only got 2 more shots of this. 172, 96, 58, 92, 57. How's that? The moment I click the login button for the second time, the hard disk begins grinding away intensely as a new page automatically opens virus detection software to scan the computer. Bingo. She better watch the ice cream habit. You're an arse, Yuuchi, but fair enough. After a minute or so, the browser window changes to a dry, functional terminal screen, empty except for a number of labeled tabs at the top. I select Vehicle Lookup, and a new frame pops up immediately. I quickly enter the car's manufacturer model, colour, and license plate number into the appropriate fields, then run the search. The result? No corresponding vehicle found. I've been more or less expecting something of the sort would happen, so it's not particularly discouraging this time. Oh, for God's sake, move out of the way, Kaka! This time I try a search using only the license plate number, but again, the database gives me nothing. Seems they weren't using a license plate borrowed from another vehicle, but instead a counterfeit with a random mishmash of number. In which case, the only remaining hint would be that sticker in the rear window, I suppose. That would be the only one left. Wonder if searching under Other might turn up something. Just as I'm pondering the next step, my cell phone begins to ring, shrilly inside the pocket of my uniform. It's JB. The caller should probably go without saying at this point. Hello, JB.
ユージ、あなた今外からうちの広域通信網にアクセスしてるでしょう。
There was a little something I wanted to look into.
私の ID を勝手に使わないでっていつも言っているでしょ。
Let's not get too caught up on the little things, okay? Jesus, not to worry. I won't let anyone know you gave away your identity. Yuuchi, you ass. Oh, are you sure about that?
だからって別に太ったことを言いふらしていいってわけじゃないわよ。っていうか太ってません。あれはその時々パスワードを変える必要があって仕方なく数字を大きくしてみただけで。
Damn. Who are you making excuses to you?
それで何を調べようとしていたの？
A motorcycle club named Blood Cherry, skull with a bomb in its mouth and as a logo. Probably affiliated with local organized crime.
そんなこと。わざわざ不正アクセスしなくても私に聞けばすぐ済むことでしょ。
Well, probably so, but it's not directly connected to my work for the company, so I was trying to show a little restraint. Wasn't the tone of exhausted disbelief? You won't find many men more tactful than me.
はいはい。
Damn.
錯乱に暴力の暴でチェリーね。
Yeah.
わかったわよ。私が調べておいてあげるわ。
Appreciate
いつまでに調べておけばいいの？
it. Sooner the better. right now if
今
possible.
すぐ
Yes, that's what I said.
あのね
Look, JB, I tried to do it myself because I didn't want to make you sigh like that.
ったく今すぐ調べればいいんでしょ今すぐ
Can you handle that?
何のための中央調査部だと思っているのよできるに決まってるでしょ
And that's how you motivate her to do it even faster. Sorry about this. You have my undying
あ
gratitude.
なたいっつもそうやって感謝するって言うけど本当に感謝してるの
I'm always grateful to you, JB. After all, now that Asuko's gone, you're the only family I have left.
12分後に結果をメールするわ
Damn. Thanks, Julia. It's not a lie. I really am grateful to her. When Asuko died, I nearly lost sight of the reason I was alive. Somehow or another, Yulia gave me the courage I needed to get back on my feet. Precisely 12 minutes later, an email arrives in my inbox from a certain punctual German. A certain place.
ほら立てよてめえ
I'm gonna end this here.
セーブするわ。
What is going on? Oh, something is going on. Ooh, I'm pumped. But unfortunately, I am actually out of time. Oh, wow. A lot has happened in this episode. Oy, oy, oy. So, not only are they now trying to warn Makina and cut down the amount of observations that they do, they are getting way more aggressive. And also have some gang affiliation and know how to hide legal information for a car that doesn't even exist on paper. Whew. It's getting real serious now. I have no idea what's coming, but I don't know if I'm ready for next time, but I'm gonna have to be. Anyways, unfortunately I am all out of time, so thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you want any more from me, and I'll see you in the next video. Sonija, guys. I will most certainly see you next time. I'm glad this is the last thing I'm recording today. Holy Jesus.